Hello, welcome to the CSU application workshop. Today we'll be reviewing the application for fall 2025 admission. My name is Christina Ortega. I'm an academic counselor and transfer coordinator here at Cabrillo. So the first thing that you want to do is create your account. You can either scan the QR code or go to calstate.edu/apply. You'll want to choose the fall 2025 term and then click apply. Just a reminder that the application is currently open and it is due December 2nd for fall 2025. Historically, this deadline has always been November 30th, but since that's falling on a weekend after a holiday, they have postponed it to December 1st or December 2nd, which is a Monday. If you're interested in applying for spring 2026, do note that some campuses and some majors will be open, but it's not guaranteed. We typically find out what campuses and majors are going to be open in early August, and then the application is due at the end of August. So for fall, general rule of thumb, all programs, all majors are open, and then spring, we don't know until summer. So you want to create an account. You want to use an email that you check regularly because all the communication will come by email. So what we don't want you to do, if you're still using a high school account, those usually void after a few years. So make sure you're using like a Gmail account or an email that you check almost every single day. You'll want to create your username and password. This is really important. Some of the first questions, your degree goal will be first bachelor's degree. Most of you will be an undergraduate student transferring from a community college to the university. So this is your first bachelor's degree. And then you'll want to choose your current educational status. So you'll be choosing from either transferring with an associate degree for transfer or transfer from a community college or a four-year institution. The associate degree for transfer is very specific. So you'll want to check with a counselor to see if you're doing the ADT or you're just transferring and getting a degree. We only have certain majors that we have a degree for an ADT for, but a counselor can definitely help you or one of our staff members can help you look at that. So a little bit more about the associate degree for transfer. It's very specific. We don't have it in all disciplines, psychology, business. We have a biology one, early elementary teacher education. We have about 20 plus degrees in that, but it's very specific. We do not have them in engineering, in architecture, so make sure you're checking with your counselor because this is really important if you have an ADT or not, because the ADT gives you different benefits. But it's not always the best option for the student. So if you have an ADT and you're sure of it, go ahead and click on that. If not, you're going to choose greater than or equal to 60 units, 60 semester units. Even though right now you're not at 60 units, they're looking at the 60 completed by the end of spring of 2025. So in your application, we'll put your in-progress classes and your planned courses, and that should meet at least 60. If you are going before that and want to be a sophomore level, please check with a counselor because not all campuses are open for sophomore level. So then you'll want to choose at least one program and major to apply to, and this will help you start your application. You can either start by putting in the campus or putting in the major and then scrolling to the campus. You can always add additional campuses later on, so don't feel like you have to do that all at the beginning of this application. Make sure that you're applying to undergraduate programs. And of course, you can apply them more than one to one program per campus. Each application is $70. If you do not receive the fee waiver is calculated by the financial information that you put on the application. So if you do qualify for the fee waiver, they do a magic calculation behind the scenes. You'll get 4 campuses for free. If not, based on either your income or your parents' income or combined income, there would be $70 per application. So on the application, we're going to see 4 quadrants. All of these quadrants have to be completely green in order for you to submit the application. So we have personal information, academic history, supporting information, and program materials. The personal information is going to include biographic information. There's going to be not all of the questions on here are required about sexual orientation, gender expression, gender identity. If you're not comfortable, they are optional and voluntary, so you do not have to report that. You'll want to include your social security number if you have one. So important to grab that information and important to check that information as this is what's going to link to your FAFSA and going to be the one that's going to be on file at the university. So we want to definitely make sure you're checking that. You don't want to transpose a number since it's going to create a headache for you later on. You'll then include your financial and parental information. And like I said before, it is part of the application fee waiver process. It is not used to determine financial aid eligibility. That's a separate application, so you'll still need to complete the FAFSA. It's basically for the fee waiver and data purposes for the CSU system. You'll want to answer the household income and size. This will determine if you are independent or dependent, depending on the age or depending on like marital status. So really important information. If you have any questions, our team can help you as well. If you need to change, oh no, I forgot to put, I'm getting an ADT or actually put an ADT and I'm not getting one, you're going to click on your name and the down arrow, and that's where we can change it on the extended profile. So the next quadrant that you're going to go to after you fill out your personal and demographic information and financial information, we're going to go to academic history. In your academic history, you are going to list your high school that you attended and what type of term, and if you received a diploma from that high school. You'll then have to list every single college that you have attended. They'll ask you if you're planning to attend, planning on obtaining a degree. If you mark that you're getting an ADT, this is where you'll also list it. If you're just getting a regular degree, this is where you'll list it. For those of you that are getting just a local degree, it's not going to hurt or harm you what you put in here. So if you're not sure, that's okay. And as always, a counselor can assist you with that. Some of you are getting multiple degrees and you don't have to list all of them. I would just list one. So you're going to report every single class that you've taken. Please don't go by memory or even student planning, because sometimes student planning adds in like if you use the hub or the STEM center. So you'll want to use your unofficial transcripts, which you can obtain through your My Cabrillo. And you'll want to go by semester by semester. So that includes withdrawals, repeats, ungraded labs, AP credit, gym courses, non-transferable courses. It should look exactly like your transcript. So you're going to put each term in as it is on your transcript. For instance, most of you probably started in fall of 2022. You'll put the term fall 2022. The academic status, the freshman, sophomore is no longer on the application, so don't worry about that. And then you'll put completed. If you took the class at Cabrillo and it was transferable, 1 through 99, then once you put in the prefix, a list of classes are going to pop up. You'll want to do that first before manually entering it. One, it's going to save you time, but this is going to give you an accurate count of units because this, what is on assist, feeds into this application. So we want to do that as much as possible. If you went to a private school, out of state university, or even a CSU and then you came back to Cabrillo, then you'll have to manually enter those courses and then make sure if they're transferable or not, and a counselor can help you. So you want to put them, one time I had a student that put all of them in her first semester. You want to break it up by semester. So those should be a fall, a spring, a summer. It lists summer 1 and 2. We only have one summer session, so you can list all of the summer classes, summer 1. So this is going to be really important. And if you have repeated any courses or had academic renewal, you're going to want to take a screenshot off this page. So if you had academic renewal or grade forgiveness, so you met with a counselor and you took, I don't know, a psych class when you were in high school and you got an F in it. And then since then you've been doing really well at Cabrillo and you went to a counselor and did academic renewal. Instead of putting that original grade, you're going to put AR for that. And how you know if you did academic renewal on your transcript, there'll be a little 04 on the right-hand side. If you repeated a course, so say you took stats, math 12, got a D in it, and then you got an A in it the next time. For the first attempt, you're going to put RP. And then the second attempt, you're going to put the grade that you've gotten. This is really important because if you don't do that, the system isn't smart to recognize it's the same class and it's going to average that GPA, and we don't want that. So RP for repeat courses, and then the new grade. If you're currently repeating a course, so for instance, if you're in Math 12 right now, you want to put the original grade and just put in progress for this new grade. And then if you're adding any credit for standardized tests, you can put tests, you can put CR. There is a separate screen that you'll actually add those, so I wouldn't worry about that. This is also very important. So after you do all of your entry for your transcript, the next section is going to be your general education. Students that are applying to the CSU need to have the Golden 4 completed, which is English, critical thinking, so English 2 or philosophy 49 for most students, one transfer level math, and a communications course. A lot of times, if you did it correctly and you put in the correct courses from Cabrillo, they're going to automatically populate into the correct Golden 4 categories. If you have out-of-state courses, you're going to have to use a drop-down menu. And once again, that's really important to check with the counselor because this is you can have a 4.0, and if you're missing something on the Golden 4, you're not getting in. So really want to check that with the counselor. There's a little cheat code on the back of your transcript at the end, at the last page. A1 is going to be your comm. English 1A is going to be your written communication, or A2. A3 is going to be your critical thinking. So as I said before, philosophy 49 or English 2 for most of you. That's a few comm 4s out there. And then your math classes will be listed as B4. Standardized tests. So that's if you took they're going to ask you for your SATs, ACTs. You don't need to put those. You can if you want. I don't think they would hurt or help anything. You don't have to worry about that. Oh, I went too far. This will also ask you for any AP, so advanced placement test that you took in high school, IB, which is International Baccalaureate, or any CLEP exams. I would say IB and AP are the most common. And those you're only going to report if you got a 3 or better on AP, or you took the HL version of IB and got a 5 or better. So the next section is going to be supporting information. There is an EOP application. If you are a part of EOP here at Cabrillo, then you definitely want to apply for EOP. If you are not, but think that you would be eligible, then it is a great opportunity to have access to a support program. You can always come back and fill out these questions. There is quite a bit of questions that they ask. They're just short essays. But what often admissions officers don't want you to do that because students forget. So if you have time and you are able to, I would do it right now. And then you'll need 2 people to recommend you. They will be sent a link. You'll provide their contact information. They'll receive a link to fill out a short questionnaire about you. EOP is for first-generation students who come from historically disadvantaged backgrounds. So if you you're first in your family, if you are on any aid such as CalFresh, CalWorks, unemployment, then you can definitely talk to a counselor about that, and we'd go over the income, but it doesn't also hurt to apply if you think you qualify for that. So this is where I said, if you're not, you can just do no, and then it'll close up the quadrant. If it's yes, you can either do it now or you can come later and complete it. Then it's going to go to program material. So this is the last quadrant. It's not all questions are going to be the same for every university and for every major. So these are specific questions that the university or program has asked. So a lot of them will be like, do you plan on living on campus? Some of them are going to ask you to restate your golden four. San Diego is going to ask you to link your classes to prereqs. Cal Poly is going to ask you if your major is or your work that you're doing is correlated to your major. So there's a variety of questions there, but you'll need to answer each of those in order to move forward. So once you get through all of those, it should look like this. You can also save and, like, for instance, if you're working on your application and you're not sure what your parents make, you can leave that blank and then continue to academic history. So you don't have to do it all in one swoop. It will take about an hour or so. Not hard, no letters of rec, no, except you're applying to EOPS, I guess. I was wrong on that. But no essays, no resume, nothing like that. It's pretty straightforward. Then you'll have a overview. So it's going to say your completed hours, your GPA. We want to make sure that matches. It'll show all colleges and what classes you looks like a repeat. It'll also go over Golden Four. So this is important to look at because it's basically a summary and review before you get to the submit button. When you're ready, you can go ahead and submit. The biggest things to remember with that is if you do it really quick and you put in your application to say San Jose State, great, that's wonderful. But if you need to make any adjustments, like say, for instance, we haven't registered for classes yet, or you still need to make a counselor to make sure that you have the right classes, you can't make any edits. So I wouldn't submit it just yet. We encourage students to submit maybe mid-November after we register, after you know what classes you're going to take, so that we don't have to make any edits. If you're satisfied, you're like, you know what, I'm pretty set. I know what class I'm going to take. They look like they're open. Times work for me. I had reviewed by a counselor. You can go ahead and submit it, but you can always add other schools later. You just can't edit it. So that's the big thing about submitting one if you're not done. Some frequently asked questions. When do I turn in transcripts and test credit? You want to check your email regularly and send only once the campus requests them. So once you submit your application, you'll probably get a welcome, how to create a portal, and that's where they do a lot of their communication as well. And then they'll ask for, usually in the springtime, ask for a partial transcript. It is really important to continue to check your email because sometimes if they see a discrepancy in, say, your coursework, or there's been a big break, or you have external coursework, they're going to ask for those pretty quickly. So you want to check your email pretty regularly. Some schools have a supplemental application. San Jose State and Long Beach are the only ones right now that do have them. There are certain programs like criminal justice at SAC that have one as well, but I would say Long Beach and San Jose are the big ones. And that is an application that you're going to do in January, and it's going to ask you additional questions, mostly about major preparation and updated GPA. So they'll notify you. It usually goes through your portal, and we also have workshops in January to assist you with that. So thanks for being here today. This is the virtual one on October 9th. This is the first step. And then the next step, and these are just the ones for October. The November ones will be posted on the transfer events calendar soon. Then we want to invite you to a virtual help lab. For those of you that are watching this in November, you can go ahead and check your transfer events calendar, and all of those will be posted on there. So kind of the timeline right now, we're on first week of October. Applications for CSU are just due December 2nd. In January, you're going to want to update your Cal State Apply with your fall grades and your spring classes and submit that by January 31st. This is really important. Some campuses won't even look at your application unless you do that. And especially if you had a really great semester, we want the highest GPA possible. So in January, you're going to want to update your fall grades and your spring classes. On January 25th, the supplemental for San Jose State's due. February 1st, Long Beach will be due. And depending on the campus, you'll probably hear between March and April. Some campuses are a lot sooner, like less impacted campuses like CSU and B, Sacramento, are going to let you know pretty soon. But the more impacted campuses, Cal Poly, San Diego, Long Beach, probably won't let you know until end of April. On May 1st, you're going to submit your statement of intent to register. That's basically like making your decision. And then you're going to send your final transcript. In this mid time right here, you'll also want to send a partial transcript to the schools that you're interested in, and they'll give you a deadline to that. So make sure that you're keeping an eye once again on that portal with upcoming dates and deadlines. So your next steps is to attend a virtual or in person in both Aptos and Watsonville, an application session. That is an open lab. We'll have counselors in there walking around helping you with the application. You want to submit your application by December 2nd, and then you want to update your Cal State Apply in January with your grades for fall and your spring classes. Thank you, and I hope to see you all in an application help session.